global mobility to the business is a solution. It's a talent management solution that permits attraction of talent to the location that the business is required, or the deployment of talent to provide development opportunities for associates. Right? We need to bring somebody into New York City to begin a job. Global mobility takes them there. If the person's in New York City and they want to go to Switzerland for 2 years to learn more about the business and then transfer that knowledge back to New York City, that's a development opportunity. So global mobility to the business, it's a solution for talent management.
Global mobility allows for businesses to have their people where they need them at every moment in time, which is why it allows for people to move around. It is a partner to the business. But it's also sometimes a roadblock. And the reason why I'm saying this is because although yes, we as global mobility professionals enable the business to move the people where they need them, not every time can we move them at the fast pace that they need them to be. We are a roadblock as well because we have to be mindful of obligations. Like every regulation, we need to be always on top of that. So if something changes, we always need to be telling the business. And so not every single time can we move as fast as they want us to be moving. But that being said, we are, I want to say, the gatekeepers of their compliance.
So recently, over in MyCon, we have actually done a survey with the business leader to actually understand what does global mobility mean to them and whether are we really supporting the business objectives. So I would say that the survey that we received is very interesting because they are actually considering mobility as a critical function in supporting them to fill their talent gap, to support them to actually relocate team members for specific training or to support in various projects. And also right now, I would say that they are also using mobility in attracting and also retaining talent.
Networking, keeping close with all those specialists. At least I know it works differently among companies, but in my place, what I like is that I have the possibility of having frequent and close communication with the specialists in charge of managing technologies. So my main source comes from this relationship between colleagues. That's how I learn the most. And obviously, reading new articles or being aware of all these news where new technologies are launched, but mostly it would be mentorship with my colleagues.
I think as a global mobility professional, you can really leverage your service providers and your partners to get the most up-to-date information on changes or new happenings within the industry. So partnering with your immigration counsel, partnering with your tax provider to make sure that you're kept up to date on any changes or new rules or regulations that are coming and being published. I think your vendors and your providers have a lot of insight into what's coming and what we can anticipate so that you can be a little bit more proactive with your businesses and the managers and HR business partners that you support. In addition to your partners, your external partners, I think network, right? Lean on the global mobility industry. I think the global mobility industry in general is a very open community, willing to share, willing to benchmark and help each other out and help each other succeed. So in addition to your external service partners, also, definitely benchmark, network and reach out to your other contacts within the global mobility industry, because chances are if you're not going through it, they may have gone through it and can provide you with that insight and kind of help as you navigate certain challenges within your company or the businesses that you support.
Definitely the size of your program and also the complexity of your program. How many countries are we talking about? How many assignees? Probably the biggest factor is the compensation reporting that is need to be done on employees' W-2s or any tax pay stub reporting for any country. Can definitely be more effective. You'll have real-time data. You have more accurate data because you can easily do a missed keystroke in an Excel worksheet. So much less chance of human error, and you can use some of that data as AI to predict future trends. I think because technology changes and improves so fast, one of the main criteria that I would look at when I'm looking at vendors is what is that vendor doing to continuously improve in technology? How many dollars are they throwing at technology improvements? Because they could have the best technology the year we're looking at them, and then 2 years later, that technology is going to be considered old. So who's investing in technology?
AI is playing a part already in global mobility. You're seeing an increase in companies trying to build in their own AI solutions. And by doing that, it empowers them to be more involved as a stakeholder on various levels within the organization. I think that this ties very closely with sustainability initiatives. So understanding AI's capabilities and understanding some of the limitations of it and what are those asks that global mobility needs to start demanding of the suppliers, because I really do believe this is where the more the global mobility identifies future needs, AI can continue to progress in a way that is really going to make it such a valuable tool. It's good now, but it has so much potential to be even better in the future.
AI has a role in global mobility. AI has a role in every part of the HR organization. It will impact the roles that we have, some to a different degree. Some will perhaps run through 30% of existing roles. Some roles will be affected 60 or 80%. It varies depending on the nature of the roles. The more, if you think about, if it can be automated, it will be automated. That's certain. And AI would definitely help automate and also select through these automations. So I definitely think that in the near future, and I would say 3 to 4 years, we'll definitely see an increasing rise of AIs in the mobility service delivery chain.
I think there are different sort of business cases, really. I think, first, you could have pressure on your in-house team in terms of capacity. If you can reduce the workload on the team by digitizing or automating some of the operational processes, that could take the heat off and the burden off some of the team if they're over capacity. You might be looking at it a different way and want to change the focus of your team. So if your team are currently focused on administration and you want them to become more strategic partners, you might need to, again, alleviate some of the administrative activity that they do, and that can be done through introducing technology to speed things up or automate the work that they do. Another way to look at it could be that you've outsourced a lot of services, and that perhaps there are certain services that could be automated using technology. It could be that could save the organization some cost. And I guess another reason for introducing technology is if you have a change of policy or delivery model. Do you need a tool to help you manage core flex, for example, or help you move towards self-service? So, I think ultimately, the organization and the team need to figure out what their specific business case is, and clearly articulate the problem that they're trying to solve. Technology is not a sort of solution that will fix a broken process. So they need to really understand what process they're trying to solve or trying to implement, and then leverage the best technology to support that solution. A technology platform can help, especially with connecting with APIs, can allow you to source data from different places, so from your HR system or from vendor systems. So by creating that kind of ecosystem, you are no longer required to sort of enter manual data and waste a lot of time doing that kind of admin. It also means that there's typically a more intuitive route for people in the business, such as HR generalists, to initiate cases which automatically feed into a global mobility database. When you're trying to select a technology provider, you need to really look at your to-be process. So make sure you really understand what your expected process is going to look like and what problem you're really trying to solve. And then interrogate in depth whether the technology provider is going to match that need. Your business requirements are critical to document and understand, and you should be looking at technology providers whose solutions closely meet and match up with your business requirements.
I think it's crucial that you stay up to date. I mean, mobility is constantly changing. Things like immigration, tax rules, social security rules are changing. But also you see the world changing. We had a very good example, of course, last year and this year. And companies' needs are changing. The technology is changing. There's so much more possible with the use of technology. So I think it's crucial that you stay up to date with what's happening in the industry, what's happening in the world around you, and what's happening in your company, because your company is constantly changing and mobility should adjust to the company's needs. It's not fixed. You should continue to look at mobility and adjust your programs, your policies, your packages, your processes, always to the company's needs. And the company's needs are constantly changing, and that's why you should always remain flexible and not have a set program and then don't look at it for years.